What is going on? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk to you about NIO. I want to go over some of the current data points, what's moving it today, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So NIO is up 3.03%, 698 the low, 734 the high, and a fair amount of volume. So 53 million shares being traded within the first about 2-3 hours of the trading day. 95.6 is the average. Interestingly enough, about today, there hasn't been any news from NIO, no SEC filings, nor any speculative topics. One thing that's been kind of making its rounds was this. So I went over a lot of the new analyst ratings that was posted over the weekend, and a lot of people said that I missed this one right here. So Deutsche Bank upgrades NIO to a 1050 price target. And so I think in general, what has happened with this one, there's different ways an analyst can post a rating. One is just simply through an article, other one is through official channels. And I, for the life of me, could not find this one because I look at 𝗖𝗢𝗡𝗖𝗧, so they use tip ranks. There was nothing that was posted. The latest one that was actually posted yesterday was just a general buy by Kevin, who has a 59% success rating with this firm, 𝗖𝗢𝗡𝗘𝗖𝗧, whatever it is. Aside from that, there was nothing posted there. Even, for instance, Unusual Whales, absolutely no 1050 price target. And then finally going over here, I use this one, so 𝗪𝗧𝗧𝗛, and there was no 1050 target. So I think in general, what has happened is that was just more of an article, not official rating. Nonetheless, though, 1050 is a pretty good target. I think it's just a matter of time before we start to get more and more of those double-digit ratings. But in my opinion, what is really causing NIO to move higher today is the technicals, and which is prompting algorithmic trading to really push NIO higher. At the time of doing this video, you have shorts returning 803,000 shares. 7.61% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 133.57 million shares overall being shorted. So what has actually happened with NIO is very, very impressive. And even looking back, this has not happened ever in NIO's history. So I know I've been giving you guys general updates, but it looks like we're going all the way back to pretty much looks like 2022, probably around November now of 2022 for the short interest. So we're definitely throwing it back old school. Keep in mind though, a lot of the exchanges are going to be reporting the true amount of shares after hours today. So things could change a little bit. So we'll find out what they did over the last 2 weeks, whether they were hiding a lot of transactions on the Darkpool or not. But looking at the options, 8.5 million in calls, 1.1 million in puts, and then 43% of all the options being done are bullish in nature. Net premiums are also increasing 735,000. So things are starting to really heat up. And one thing as well that I'm very interested to kind of see is the data that will come out tomorrow, just on if we're going to start to see a bigger rotation start to occur with money markets. So last week we did see, I think it was like $19 billion leave money markets to go to equities. So I think in general, big money is going to be looking for value plays, and honestly, NIO does meet that criteria. So I did also at the same time bring up NIO in my pre-market video on this channel. On a side note, hopefully you guys are liking those pre-markets, and if there's any kind of requests or anything, just let me know in the comments below. But I did see some comments saying that the reason why NIO is moving higher is because of Alibaba. Alibaba hasn't had any news today. Only thing that really came out was the fact that Cathie Wood did buy into Alibaba, and that was the first time since pretty much 2021. So goes to show that big money is looking more at Chinese stocks, and honestly, a lot of them are very, very suppressed. So in general, if institutions are looking for value plays, I think NIO is going to be where it's at. And as I've mentioned, I think we have roughly around 1 week left for the end of Q3. So most likely you'll be seeing a lot of institutions starting to rebalance, and given NIO and how it's generally lagged a lot of the broader market, you could see some institutions buying NIO. But getting back to the options from a bull standpoint, you see a consensus for it to be above 750 to 8. Bears are anticipating for it to be sub 7. So definitely a lot more upside is still anticipated. These are some of the transactions occurring on the secondary market. So you are seeing that rather low. So only 3 and they're all buys, but it is rather low. And this is why I said algos, I think, are the big thing that's pushing NIO higher, in addition to shorts returning. But these are all the transactions occurring on the dark pool above $100,000. So definitely a lot of big transactions going on here, a lot of multi-million-dollar transactions, as it is what it is. So yeah, good stuff to see. Aside from that, with it right now at 714, it is trading between this R2 and this R1. So 680 is going to be that strong support. Hasn't been tested today, and most likely that's actually what caused all of this push higher, is because a couple of days back it did bounce off of that. So starting to really gain some good traction. 738 is going to be the next strong target / resistance. So it kind of bounced off of that general area today when it did have that nice push higher. So going into the next couple of trading days, just watch for that 738. And then if so, then you could easily see that $8 range coming sooner rather than later. Aside from all that fun stuff, like I mentioned, there hasn't been that big 1050 rating that was posted. Nonetheless, you are still seeing some pretty good ones. So you have increases from $3.43 to $7, $8.10 to $8.60. So still good stuff to see. Algos, you can see from here, are very popular. No real articles coming out associated to NIO whatsoever. So it is just largely going based on its technicals, and honestly nothing really wrong with that, because NIO's technicals are looking pretty good. So it is above that 10-day moving average, so still shows a lot of good momentum. Because of the recent consolidation from it bouncing from the high of 760, it's somewhat reset the stochastic RSI, so that's kind of a good thing. So if in general NIO puts out a good piece of news or gives an update on, let's say, some of the recent launches or how things are going, then you could see a very nice push higher. And even just generally looking at the market position overview for right now and comparing it to yesterday, you see NIO easily was able to get above this very strong wall of sellers. And so essentially you pretty much can run up to about that 735 in my opinion before you can actually the next wall. And actually conveniently that's the high for today. So 734 is that right here. And so yeah, I think at the end of the day, NIO is ready just to move higher, just needs that next big catalyst. And I think in general, a lot of people are starting to day trade NIO just based on the crazy volatility. So just today alone, the range is 5.2%. So 5.2% in either direction. So if someone's good at reading technicals and good at catching the bottom and so forth, you can make some pretty good money based on all that. So at the end of the day, I do feel higher highs are coming. So let me know your general thoughts on that. Or do you feel that NIO is ready to pull back to that 6, 5, 4? What's your, or kind of general range? So what's your kind of thoughts on all that? And then one final thing, if you're looking for some solid buy signals on stocks, options, crypto, pop over to my Patreon. I put out daily day trades, numerous swing trades, worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.